Welcome.
Becky.
It's the final day of Kindness Week.
I mean, it has been an epic week, but we're going out with a bang.
I mean, we have brought the thunder tonight.
We brought the party.
And not just the Oklahoma City Thunder. Because we're going to Dallas. And we are talking with Paige Chenault today, and she is the queen of parties and doing them in such a meaningful and wholesome way. And we are going to be talking to her today about her founding nonprofit that she thought up, I think, on an airplane. I cannot wait to hear this story. Called the Birthday Party Project. And she is the founder and the chief birthday enthusiast. You're going to hear some like amazing titles. So the first thing I loved about Paige's bio is it has 4 words that started out: eat, period, sleep, period, party, period, repeat. Eat, sleep, party, repeat. That is Paige's mantra. And she knows how to throw a bash because she is a professional party thrower in her former life as a wedding planner. And so now she has moved from brides to be to children in need, which I love that so much. And so Paige and her team of birthday enthusiasts are hosting birthday parties each month at homeless and transitional living facilities for children. And they kicked this off 8 years ago. And today they have grown to 15 cities across the U.S. and celebrated more than 11,000 birthdays with thousands of volunteers who are making this happen for children. So I'm so excited to dive into this today. Paige, how are you? Our rock star who is also a TEDx speaker. That is how impressive she is. Thanks for coming on the show, Paige.
I am so happy to be with you all today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is great.
I love a good party, and I have been ridiculous and over the top in planning my own children's birthday parties. And so it really, this mission really resonated with me because you just think about how much time and energy you throw in and money into your kids' parties, and you think about removing that memory and that tradition, and it makes birthdays look so different. So I wish that you could just start by telling us a little bit about how you came up with this nonprofit and the genesis story.
Sure, absolutely. So I actually fell into wedding and event planning, had no idea that that was going to be something that I wanted to do in life. But after I got married to my husband, Colin, I had this opportunity to help a friend plan her wedding. And as I'm working through this, I thought I was just doing it, on the friend basis. So we start planning, and the more we get involved in this, in the process, the more I start to come alive. I mean, you give me a clipboard and you put that earbud in my ear, and I am ready to rock.
I am seeing Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner, where you open up your bag and you have all the tools.
But I remember running galas. When you get the earpiece, you're in a different zone.
Yeah,
you know
are.
What I'm saying?
You're in Britney Spears, like virtual mic mode.
That's exactly right. It gives you these wings, this power. It really does. So, well, by the time my friend's wedding rolled around, I actually had the opportunity to plan other people's weddings. Like word spread that this was something I was doing. And so at the time I was working in nonprofit, actually right out of college, but I realized that I had this opportunity to do something really extraordinary, which is to be a part of people's most sacred celebrations. And there are these moments in planning these events that, it's so emotional. It's very personal for these families, and being able to walk beside them throughout the entire process. But the best part for me was watching it all unfold and everybody being together in a room and celebrating. And so I was hooked from the very beginning. So I said yes to wedding planning full time. I put all of my energy and effort behind that and grew this event planning business to like a national presence. So here I am planning, weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs and big birthday bashes. And I am pregnant with my daughter, Lizzie. So I'm on this airplane and I'm flying up to see a friend, and super pregnant, like last time I could ever get on an airplane, right? and I'm flipping through a magazine and I'm reading about kids' birthday parties. And I'm getting so excited, like, just thinking about all that could be for my daughter. And just as you're saying, Becky, that you love to, throw birthday parties for your kid, same for me. I just couldn't like help but dream about using all of my friends in the event industry, all the kind of skills and talents that I had acquired to throw these like big bashes for my little girl. So here I am dreaming about what could be. And I actually put this magazine down. And the next magazine that I pick up was a Time magazine. And I open it and I truly flip open. And the very first image I see in this Time magazine is an image of a little boy in Haiti. And if you stop for a moment, I'm sure that there is a picture that arrives in your mind about what this little boy is experiencing, right?
Yep.
So this little boy, it's this black and white picture. And he's in the middle of this like dirty and dusty street. He doesn't have a shirt on. There are people in the background of this image, but this little boy was just staring right at me. And in that moment, I just kept thinking, okay, what about him? What about children like this? Here I am. I'm thinking about all these ways that I can throw pink princess parties for my little girl, but then there are kids like this that might never feel celebrated. And I have to say, like, for me, it was this moment of, I can do something about this. I mean, this fire in my belly, this like punch in my gut. I am extremely pregnant, so extremely emotional. The tears are flowing.
The feet are
The
swelling. It's all the things. Yes.
It's all the things.
You've
The
never
gentleman
felt
next
more
to
fear.
me, yeah, he's looking at me like, oh, here we go. The stewardess comes over and she says, "Are you okay?" I said, "I think so. I don't really know what's happening, but something really great is happening." And I just remember that moment being marked by emotion and by this feeling, this energy behind this, like, I can do something about this. I don't know what it is yet, but the stirring started at that moment. So if you fast forward just like a tad, I walk in from my trip and I go up to my husband. I was like, "Colin, I'm going to throw birthday parties for kids in Haiti." And he's like, "Hey, you are 100 years pregnant. Like you got to have this baby any moment. And you have 36 events on the books right now. And now you're going to go to Haiti and throw birthday parties for kids." Okay. Okay. So God bless him for being my voice of discernment, right? Like just,
Everybody needs a Colin in their life.
everybody needs a Colin in their life, whether we like it or not at the time.
Yep.
We all need a Colin in our life. So I really appreciated his kind of insistence on the pause, right? Because I think that that's where this idea really started to take shape. Is I was able to have Lizzie. I was able to continue my obligations and my commitments with hosting and throwing big parties, and I was also able to just take some time for this idea to just kind of manifest in a way that, had I jumped into it, probably would have looked very differently. And what I had discovered about that process for me was that, yes, I could do the Hail Mary. We could throw parties for kids anywhere. We're capable of anything. Human beings were capable of anything. But my highest and best use, the thing that I knew that I really should be focusing on, were kids in my community. Right down the road, people, kids that needed a celebration most. And so thankfully, we took some time to recognize that there were kids in our community that were experiencing trauma and crisis like my child would never experience. And that allowed me to say, okay, I really can impact and affect change, and I can change the trajectory of these children's life by a simple celebration. So it all started that is my Genesis story, but it all started in 2012 when I walked in to Family Gateway for the very first time to say, "Hi, my name is Paige, and I want to throw birthday parties for your kiddos."
Oh my goodness.
What was the response?
I was going to say the same question. What did they say?
Well, it was so great because I really, I thought I had it all figured out. So I walk in very confidently thinking, well, of course you want me to come in and throw birthday parties for your kids. Of course. This is what I do. I do this well. Let me in. And what I loved in return was her care for her kids. And she said, you know what? People come to us all the time with good intentions. People come to us all the time with ideas about ways that they can get involved with the families and the kiddos here. And what we often see is they start strong and then it kind of fizzles out. And she said, I love this idea, but what I'm worried about is that, there will come a time when you don't show up for these kids, and kids crave consistency. Kids need consistency. And so my request to you is that if you come in January, that you commit to coming every single month after that. And I thought, oh, this really is about more than just me and my idea. This is truly about lives. And absolutely, I need to take this seriously. And when I commit to something, I definitely see it through, but I hadn't quite thought of that with such weight around it. And so I really appreciated that challenge of just making sure that when we show up, that we show up every single month to celebrate all the kids that have birthdays that month. It was great.
And good
I
for
mean, what a good
her.
mama bear. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. That's protecting those
She's
kids.
got to look out for their best interest. And I mean, she's exactly right. There's so many people who want to go out and do something amazing, but it's typically a one-off kind of a situation, and you cannot build up a level of expectation with children. And I mean, I don't want to be a part of building up an expectation and not being able to deliver on that. So I think that's wonderful. And it's so great that it created a moment for you to kind of set your expectation and allow you to kind of embrace that and say, okay, I am, or I'm not willing to do that. And what a gift, 11,000 parties later, that you said yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I
Paige,
agree.
something we
Totally
say
agree.
all the time is that community is everything. And I know, you know, those of us that come to the table with an idea, we have this wonderful idea of what it's going to be, but it gets so much more beautiful as more people get invested in it and take it and can add their pieces to it. So I wonder if you could just give us a snapshot of like where you're at today, in comparison with walking into that first meeting, which I love hearing about.
Absolutely. So I really do believe in the power of people. I say that often. I think that it takes all of us to make big change happen. And I will say that in the very beginning, I knew that I could not do it alone. And I knew that I had a very specific set of skills, which would carry us far, but would not get us to where we are today. And so I was very intentional about seeking out people that had skill sets different than me. And I very much held things loosely so that when people came to us and said, hey, I can bake cakes and bring those. Hey, I would love to bring my family and come volunteer. Gosh, what if we do it like this? I was very open to everyone's ideas because I really knew that we would be better together. So what started, our very first party started with my, favorite friends around and my personal board of directors. We were the ones that came to the very first party. Like, hey guys, we've been talking about this. We're going to try it. I don't know. Can we do it? And I knew that if I fell flat on my face, those were the people that I wanted to be around us. Right.
That's awesome.
And after that very first party, there was so much like momentum and excitement and confidence walking out of that party to say, oh, we can do this, but now we want more people to join us and more. And so as word spread about what we were doing, and we've been very fortunate to have, friends in our corner writing about us, sharing our stories from the very beginning. But as that word started to spread, we continued our grassroots efforts to just continue to celebrate more kids, more and more kids and more kids. And we eventually realized that grassroots efforts are the best way to start things, in my opinion. And the next best thing is to harness those people that have just really shown up for you and to say like, okay, how do we leverage your skills and your talents? How can we make sure that like we are using the best of you so that you can give that back out to the world? And so I became very aware from the beginning about of the people in my life and the people in the path of our mission and how we could use them strategically to continue to celebrate our kiddos. And because I believe in the power of people, I recognize that like we could scale this thing. I mean, we got people that are excited about doing this in other markets. And with my event planning background, I have this incredible network of event professionals all over the country who are ready and willing to give up a night to go celebrate some really special kids. Let's use their talents and let them be a part of this.
Okay.
And so, we fast forward, we have built our program through just the power of people, meaning I have a great team here in Dallas at our headquarters that kind of oversees our operations, but we rely on 153 what we call party coordinators. These are key volunteers, ambassadors of our mission that we have provided a lot of training and support to, but we rely on them to host parties on our behalf. We have given them the keys. We have said, we love that you believe in our mission and we believe in you. And they are the ones that go out and then they welcome what we call our birthday enthusiasts, our volunteers, into the parties to help us then host a big bash for our kiddos.
I just love how you were able to smartly leverage your skill set, that which you are good at. I mean, to me, this is a great example of what we always talk about when we say anyone can be a light to anybody else in this world. And you, by virtue of being pregnant and highly having a ton of hormones raging through your body while you see this beautiful party magazine, and then you see the dichotomy of this Haitian child. I mean, there are people who would see that and say, wow, isn't that sad? But there is a small cadre of people who would say, I know I can do something about that. And that is what I love so much about your story, Paige. And the way that you've been able to just put it on fire and make it something that anybody can participate in. The birthday party enthusiast, I mean, even just the way you've branded it is so cute and joyful. And I wonder if you could walk us through like how the process starts. How do you find out about a child? How do you equip your volunteers to the point? And I also want to know the first birthday party, what was the theme? Because I'm guessing Spider-Man. Spider-Man? Am I close?
You are close, actually.
Oh,
What you said is, I think, really important is that we all have something to contribute. And when we bring those pieces of ourselves together, that's where the magic happens, right? And so whether it is because a family wants to come and volunteer and show their kids, that there is an opportunity to give back, whether it is somebody decorating cakes, whether it is a party planner who just likes to be in charge and wants to run the whole thing, or a DJ that comes in and plays for us, there is an opportunity for every single one of us to find a place in this world and in our communities to give of ourselves. There really is. So as it relates to how we work and how we do it, and let's also say that we're coming up on year 9 right now, and we have evolved our mission over time, right? But what I love is that there are some core competencies of what we do that has kind of remained tried and true for us. So you visit our website and you say, hey, I've got parties, in Dallas, I can get involved in Atlanta, and you register to become a birthday enthusiast there. And what we do on our end is we have partnered with homeless shelters and transitional living facilities. And we are able to say to them every single month, we say, how many kids do you have that have birthdays this month? And we get a list of those kiddos. So we know there could be 2 kids living in a shelter that month that have a birthday, or in Minneapolis, we've had as many as 64 kids at one agency have a birthday that month. 64 birthdays, that's a lot of cake.
That's a lot of pinatas.
So you always do like solo birthday parties. Is that true?
So we do monthly birthday parties with our agency partners, our homeless shelters, transitional living facilities. So every month we celebrate all the kids that have birthdays that month. Whether you are 1 or you are 21, we want to celebrate you. And so then from there, the best part for me is that we invite every kid and family member that is staying at that agency to participate in the party, because we believe in the power of joy and building community. And so everybody comes in together. our birthday kids, they are identified early with a birthday badge. It says "My Birthday Rocks." We give all of our birthday kids receive a gift, and then all of them get their individual cake that is just for them with a candle that they can blow out and make a wish. So we have a signature tunnel at our parties. So all of our birthday enthusiasts, that's people like you guys that show up and help us celebrate. All of our birthday enthusiasts line up and we do the signature soccer tunnel, and all the kids and families come running in, and it's chaos.
Oh
I
my,
mean, it
I
is.
see it.
it's beautiful chaos.
Mhm.
And some kids come in and they're very timid, and other kids are so excited to be back for a second or a third month, and they've gotten to know us. And so they're like, "Oh yeah, high five. You see me, I see you.
It's my month. It's my
It's
month.
my month. Hey, do you know it's my birthday? My name is, we get a lot of, it's my birthday this month. It's my birthday." I'm like, "I know, it's your birthday." So for about 1 hour, all across the country, every single month, we are celebrating kids with a specific themed bash. So in April, it was superheroes. In September, it is county fair, and we bring in petting zoos. But no matter if you are in New York or Los Angeles or Dallas, we are celebrating in very similar ways kids ages 1 to 21 with all of their kids and families that are staying at the agency as participating in the party.
You guys,
Thank
I'm
you.
cutting in
Julie's
because
cutting
this is one of my very, very favorite nonprofits. I told Paige I have a literal nonprofit crush on
She does.
the Birthday Party Project.
Fangirl
But
over here.
yes, Paige came and talked at OU, and so that was kind of my first experience with the mission. And if you are listening, you can feel Paige's joy through the radio and through your iPhone.
She's smiling.
Yes, she
Mhm.
has cracked the case, found the secret sauce on how to be joyful. And there's nothing more joyful than your birthday or planning a birthday for someone. This is Kindness Week. Everyone's looking to spread more joy, more kindness. Just any advice on how to be joyful for our listeners, because I think everyone is seeking more of that these days.
Especially now, I think, especially now, as we are all fumbling through this, new normal. I think that the best thing that we can do is to initiate opportunities, right? To experience joy. And here's what I would say about initiating. I think there's this great opportunity for us to build a little confidence in ourselves when we step out and make new connections or new opportunities. And when I say initiating, I'm even talking down to like holding the door for someone, or asking, the guy in the Chick-fil-A line, like, "Hey, how is your day going today? Like, what is happening with you?" An extra thank you to the people that are working at the grocery stores right now, the folks that are helping us, with our kids at schools, just taking a moment to connect with someone. And I think that in those moments of connection, that's where we start to feel like we belong to something bigger than ourselves. I think that that's where when we start to think like, "Oh gosh, like you just connected with me and I feel so good and confident, and I feel connected back, and I feel like I belong somewhere." And I think that in those moments of belonging somewhere is where we can like dig a little bit deeper down to really find a little bit more meaning in our lives, and see what we're actually capable of. And so I would say, especially in our parties, that this happens time and time again. We have birthday enthusiasts come to our parties that are incredibly shy and timid and like, "What do I do?" And my first response back is, be yourself and say hi to someone. Just get to know someone and see what happens from there, right? Or when kids and families walk in and they're like, "What is this? You're throwing this party for us, I can't believe it." Or they walk in really shy. I always try to find an opportunity to connect the shy kid with the shy adult, because there's something really magical that happens when you just kind of bring them together, and they kind of, their shoulders relax a little bit, and that one opportunity for them to initiate this, "Hi, my name is Paige." Like, that's sometimes all it takes for somebody to feel like they matter in this world. And so for me, I think that that's when we can and find like the greatest sense of joy, is just when we feel like we belong and are connected.
And it just goes back to that sense of community. And
Mhm.
when you feel seen and heard and lifted up, I mean, it makes you feel like you can move mountains. And I think what you've said here is so important about what you've said about confidence, because what happens when we become more confident in things. It's like a muscle. We want to, work it out again and again. And I just think that is the hook in nonprofit, is that you can come into a space, you can volunteer, you can be a birthday enthusiast and get so much joy out of it personally, not to mention what you're delivering, and it makes you want to keep coming back again and again and again. So I love that really exciting and like smart tip that you had there, because it is about joy and we need to look for it these days, because it's a crowded space out in the world right now, that the noise is prolific, and we've got to find ways to cut through it to bring joy and hope back into our lives. This is such an easy way to do it. So I have a question, because storytelling is such a cornerstone of our company. And I just have to believe that you have the most incredible stories that have occurred as you have watched these thousands of parties just unfold. Is there one that sticks out to you that has touched you significantly that you would share with our community?
Yes. In the past 9 years, I would say that there are about 4 moments for me that have truly transformed my life. And one of them is this: we partner with a domestic violence agency. So women are fleeing their abusers, and most of these women are leaving under such duress, right? They're leaving in the middle of the nights while their partners are off at work. They are in hiding when they get to these domestic violence agencies. We have had the opportunity to partner with one specific shelter for now 9 years, and every time we walk in those doors, we see new faces, absolutely, but we also have the chance to see familiar faces. There are some of these moms that come into the shelter and stay with a program for up to 2 years. So if you think about that, we have the chance every single month to develop this extraordinary level of trust with these kids and their moms, and the relationships that have evolved over those 2 year span are really, really special. So one day I had the privilege of attending a party, and our party coordinators had it all under control, and our birthday enthusiasts were making it all happen. And I just get the chance to sit in the corner and kind of watch this all unfold. And as I'm doing so, I notice that this one mom has 3 children, and the oldest of which is 4, and then it's kind of stair step after that. And they're making their way around their party, and it was I came to find out that it was their 3rd month of staying in shelter. So they're a familiar face to our party coordinators, but they're still new and they're just trying to get used to everything. And the children are quite shy. Well, as I'm watching this unfold, I know that I see our party coordinator go over and put a birthday badge around the neck of the 4-year-old girl. And she says, "It's your birthday. We get to celebrate your birthday this month." And the 4-year-old girl turns to her mom and her eyes are wide, and she just kind of looks at her like, what does this mean? I mean, there was just this excitement on her face, but also this it was very clear to me that she was in new territory, that she wasn't quite sure how to behave at this party. So we do a thing where we line up all of our birthday kids. We put them in front of their cake. They have a placemat with their name on it. The gift is in front of them. It's picturesque. And as we're lining them up, we go down the line and we call our birthday kids by name. And we say, "Hey, everybody, give it up for Elizabeth. She's turning 4. And everybody cheers and erupts in cheering, and the mom is standing off to the side with just, tears running down her face. And as it gets time, we light the candles on the cake, and we're walking through and we're lighting all the candles. And there's a volunteer, one of our birthday enthusiasts, is standing very close to Elizabeth. And as the candle is lit, Elizabeth just stares at this candle. And then she turns to the volunteer, our birthday enthusiast, and then she turns back to the candle and she looks at her again. And the birthday enthusiast realizes in this moment she has no idea what to do. And this little girl says, "What is this fire stick?" And the birthday enthusiast says, "Elizabeth, this is a candle. And when you blow this candle out, you get to make a wish and dream about anything you want for your birthday." And in that moment, she shut her eyes so tightly. It is like the world completely stopped just for Elizabeth. And her eyes were tight, and she blew out that candle with such might. And when she opened her eyes, I mean, she was glowing, and her mom was crying hysterically. And she turned around and she said, "Is this present for me?" And she said, "Yes, Elizabeth, this present is for you." And she grabs this present and she holds it as though it's the greatest thing in the world. And she goes off to her mom, and her mom, opens the present with her. And later I come over and I say, "Thank you so much for letting us celebrate with you today." And she says, "No, you don't understand. You see, I was under such oppression with my husband that we actually have never celebrated any holiday or any birthday whatsoever. As I was living with him, he would constantly remind me that celebrations don't matter, that there is no reason to celebrate a holiday or a birthday. And this is the very first time we have ever been able to celebrate. And it won't be our last. From this point forward, we will make sure that we celebrate our kids every single year." And you see, for me, this is really profound because I take celebrations for granted. I love to celebrate. I think it's so important. It's a fabric of our lives to celebrate. And when I hear stories of families who have never been able to celebrate, not a holiday or actually them into existence in this world, and we had the chance to change that for this family. We had the chance to show up and tell this mom and her children how much they matter, that joy can be found in times of crisis, and that they are worth celebrating year after year and day after day. I will forever call a candle a fire stick, just to be reminded that something so simple can be such a profound and lasting reminder in someone's life of how important they are and how much they matter to this world.
So good.
Wow.
I'm
And
chills.
even like the importance for her to be able to have a dream. I think the way you described that storytelling, it's like nobody had challenged her to make a wish or a dream. And it's like that you're creating the wonder within her. I mean, what the dividends that pays in celebration and
I
giving
just
space
think
for
of
that.
how much the world must have shifted for that family in that
Mm.
moment, and how it allowed them to kind of see a different future. And it's like, and to me, again, I'm sorry, I come back up on my soapbox. Here comes Becky again. Um, this was an idea that what we would think as a normal human being had on an airplane. And to go from sitting in an airplane to that moment, and when you think about the hundreds or thousands of moments like that that have been created without your knowledge of what it actually did, I mean, it just makes me think, if you don't know what hope means to a child, then you need a birthday party, because simple joys, hope, and I don't think anybody in this world could say that we don't understand or appreciate what hope means now more than ever. We need to be looking for hope. We need to be looking for joy. And if we're the takers of it, then the world is not equitable. We've got to keep being the givers of that. We want to infuse that because we want every Elizabeth to have her fire stick opportunity in front of her. Awesome story, Paige.
Tell us the story. How did this happen? And I'm like paranoid of my teeth, so I can't imagine them being on everybody's bags of potato chips. Please tell me.
Frito-Lay reached out to me because they have a campaign about like share your smiles and ways that we have brought smiles to people all across America. So it was really fun to be able to have my face, and really weird to walk through a grocery store, but to see my smile on a Lay's potato chip bag. But here's the best part, and I think this is the reason that I was chosen to do so. So in the summer, I had the opportunity to go and share the story of the Birthday Party Project and our mission with the Frito-Lay like corporate community. So I got to speak at their town hall. And, I love speaking in front of people, and I'm talking and sharing our story. And afterwards, my daughter was with me actually, because, it was like bring your kid to work summer. And after after I got to share, I kind of was down in the crowd and talking to people and just shaking hands and getting to hear people's stories. And all of a sudden I see this like beautiful figure headed my direction, and she's tall and she's got this long hair coming at me. And I turn to her and I stick out my hand and I say, "Hi, my name's Paige," and she says, "My name is Francesca, and you celebrated my 14th birthday while I was living at Family Gateway."
Dead.
I hope
We're
everyone just
dead.
gasped in their car. Wow.
Guys, if I've ever had an Oprah moment, I burst into tears. I could barely understand I was like, "You're who? You're what? What?" And I just kept looking at her and hugging her and saying, like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Yes, I'm an intern now at Frito-Lay. I'm the youngest ever intern at Frito-Lay this birthday. And then my family moved to Interfaith Housing Coalition. And when we moved, you were there too. And you celebrated my sister's birthday with a petting zoo. And she had never seen live animals before. And she wants to be a veterinarian because of your birthday." Guys, if there's ever been a moment in my life where I realized like what we are doing matters so much, this is it. This was it for me. I mean, dead, just dead. I hugged her so tightly. Her name is Francesca, and Francesca is extraordinary, and her family is extraordinary, and they have fought their way out of homelessness. And Francesca was the youngest ever intern at Frito-Lay, and then went on to graduate from high school and is now in college, and she is making it happen. And her family is just extraordinary, and she's on to big things. But you know what? She has kept all the trinkets from our parties over the years. And the time that she spent at Family Gateway, not only just celebrating her birthday, but also those that she attended, she keeps all of it. She says, "I have every picture, every Polaroid picture. I kept all of that. I have the lei. I have it all." She was like, "It meant so much to me." And what I'm so thankful for is, I mean, I love the way life works, right? Like, I love the way everything is sewn together. And this opportunity led me to Francesca, that led us to, and now she's, in college and pursuing her dreams. But she comes back and volunteers with us, and she makes sure that kids are feeling celebrated. And it's just the best.
And I just think back to your first meeting, when you walked in and that person said, "I want you to keep showing up. I don't want this to be a one and done thing." It's like, that's how these things happen. I love that. Okay, Paige, you've already given us so much wisdom, but we ask all of our guests to give us one good thing. And that's something that, you could implement today, whatever seat you're at, if you're in a nonprofit or if you just want to start a movement like you've done. What's something that people could do today?
I think that sometimes people think that entrepreneurship or starting something requires nothing but just a lot of hustle and grit, right? I think that sometimes we associate that, like starting something, entrepreneurship, leading, with just this extraordinary amount of hustle. And what I will tell you that I have learned over these past however many years of entrepreneurship is the value of rest. I think it is so important that we find ways to rest. And I know that that sounds so counterintuitive to this, like, go, 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 build, build, build. And yet I have found that by taking time for myself, by taking time for my family, and to rest just to rest my brain, but to rest my body, it allows me to come back just like ready to fight, ready to dig, ready to dream. So for me, it's all about rest.
That is
I love that.
such a good
And honestly,
one.
needed to hear that today. So thank you for that.
Excellent. Paige, how can people connect with the Birthday Party Project? I want to know how people listening, wherever they are in the world, how can they become a birthday enthusiast?
What has been extraordinary about COVID is that it's actually allowed us to scale our mission. So now we are celebrating kids through something called Birthday in a Bag. And that means that anyone, anywhere can sponsor a birthday kid. they can create a virtual birthday wish for one of our kids. They can make birthday cards and send them our direction. And you can find all of that information at thebirthdaypartyproject.org, or of course, follow us on Instagram at The Birthday Party Project. But we are reaching more children than ever before in more cities than ever before, thanks to COVID, actually. And so this is a great time for us to use this time to find a new way to plug in. And I think that we have something for everyone right now.
If you're not innovating at this point, you are falling behind. So bravo, Birthday Party Project.
This has been awesome though, Paige. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paige.
Have a
What a
great
privilege.
week. Keep throwing those parties. We are all about it, and we support and are rooting for you.
Thank you.